Again, thank you for joining us today as we introduce Jake Dickert as the 34th head football coach at Washington State University. Our format today will be to hear opening remarks from Provost and WSU Chancellor-Designate Elizabeth Chilton, WSU Director of Athletics Pat Chun, and WSU head football coach Jake Dickert, followed by a Q&A with media who are joining us in person and then virtually. At this time, I'd like to introduce WSU Pullman Chancellor-Designate Elizabeth Chilton for her opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is really quite an honor and a pleasure to be here today on President Schultz's behalf and to welcome all of you as we officially welcome Coach Dickert as our 34th head football coach at Washington State University. Unfortunately, President Schultz is on travel today and unable to be with us, but he sends his best regards to the entire Coug Nation. It's really amazing to see our football players up there. I can feel the energy coming down. Thank you all for being here today, and our students especially. Your energy is palpable and infectious. Of course, I would also be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on your blowout victory over the Huskies last week. And thank you for bringing the Apple Cup back home to Pullman where it belongs. And to Coach Dickert, congratulations on WSU's first Apple Cup victory in Seattle since 2007. Having watched Jake's leadership carefully this season, this victory was not surprising. Jake, your authentic, thoughtful, calm, and steady leadership is greatly appreciated. And Kirk and I have been impressed by your dedication to the success of our student athletes on the field, in the classroom, and in their lives beyond WSU. There is no doubt that you exemplify all of the positive attributes of being a Coug, and we're confident that our football team is in the right hands to continue to be exceedingly successful. As former coach Jim Walden so eloquently put it, Washington State is a passion. Being a Cougar is a passion. You clearly have the passion and dedication for our student athletes and our Cougar community, and we sincerely appreciate your and Candace's commitment to WSU. Finally, Kirk and I want to express our gratitude to Pat Chung for leading us through several challenging months and for his leadership in securing the best head coach we could imagine. Thank you, and go Cougs.
Next, we will hear from Director of Athletics Pat Chun for his opening comments.
Let me start by Cam Etheridge is here. Congrats on the win today over Northern Colorado, or excuse me, over San Francisco. Women's basketball is off to an excellent start, so make sure you get out to watch them and support them. I know I just checked my phone. Women's volleyball just won their first game or first match in the NCAA tournament against Northern Colorado. So, Jen Greeny, congrats, survive and advance. And then Kyle Smith was going to be here, but his son's got a basketball game down in, I think, Lewiston, but he got win number 200, and I just want to urge everybody, we have a huge game here on Saturday against USC. So I know tickets are moving fast. We're going to recognize a bunch of an amazing football team at halftime, but if you can get out there, we need people in Pullman this weekend for this one. This is a big one. So I'd also ask if Coach Price and Coach Walden can stand and be recognized. We got Jim Walden and Mike Price here. Just stand and be recognized, please, coaches. Appreciate your endless support of Washington State University, and we all understand our duty to continue what you guys have laid before us. So thank you for being here today. I'd like to begin by saying thank you to these guys up here, the 2021 WSU football team, most especially our senior class. This team and season will forever be remembered. This team brought joy and inspiration to Cougs all over the world, returned the Apple Cup back home to Pullman, and earned the 17th bowl game opportunity in school history. To our outgoing seniors, whether you've been here 4, 5, or 6 years, you've gone to a bowl at the conclusion of every full season you've been here. That is historic. Congratulations. We appreciate you. We thank you for leaving a legacy. And I just ask everyone, let's just give these guys a standing ovation real fast for what they've done. I'd like to say thank you to President Kirk Schultz and WSU Pullman Chancellor Designate Elizabeth Chilton for their continued leadership and guidance of our entire athletics program. And congratulations to Elizabeth on being our first ever WSU Pullman Chancellor. She's a wonderful person, an extraordinary leader, and we're fortunate to have her in the Coug family. So on to why we're here today. For over the past month, we committed ourselves to a process that would find the best head football coach for Washington State University. Within our process, we were committed to finding the best person to fit a specific profile that we feel best leads and serves the current and future student athletes of Washington State University football. As expected, we were committed to finding the best, as expected, we were able to talk with a diverse group of coaches, including sitting FBS head coaches, as well as Power 5 coordinators. On a parallel path, though, was an ongoing evaluation of Jake Dickert. As the interim head coach, he was immersed in an extensive and exhaustive evaluation. I made it clear to him that my evaluation will be focused on progress, not perfection. We needed to get back to the values that have served this program so well for decades. We needed to get back to a program that is driven by its student athletes. Over the past month, Jake interviewed with me on 3 different occasions. What we learned about Coach Dickert is what all of Coug Nation witnessed as well. Since the beginning of the season, we've been able to see a dramatic transformation of the WSU defense. As our interim head coach, we saw leadership emerge. We witnessed a head coach execute a plan to unify a group of young men and put them in the best possible position to go 1-0 every week. This group played football with a renewed sense of purpose, a willingness to play for each other, and displayed characteristics of grit, toughness, and pride. By the time we entered the Apple Cup last Friday, we had an inspired team emerge, one that was forged through adversity and served as a reminder to everyone who watched, when Cougs unite and come together, anything is possible. By the time the clock hit 0 in Seattle last Friday, a sea of crimson filled with happiness, pride, and love overtook the field. I finally understood why the proprietors call it the greatest setting. Our Cougs had won the Apple Cup. Coach Dickert has proven to be a servant leader and unifier. He has a powerful and vibrant vision for WSU football. He's a dynamic coach. He's committed to the total development of our student athletes. He's committed to recruiting the best future student athletes to WSU. He shares the same values of Washington State University, puts the welfare and needs of the team at the forefront of all of his decisions. He's a good person, and most importantly, he's a great husband and father. Thank you, Candace, Riley, Jason, Jet, for sharing him with us. Ultimately, over the last 6 weeks, he proved he's a Coug. So it's my privilege to formally announce Jake Dickert as the 34th head football coach of Washington State University. Take a picture real fast. Let's get in the middle.
I was going to hug Butch to start on my way in, but I didn't want to get a 15-yard penalty. I know, we gotta have a talk later. You know, I'm extremely humbled and honored to be the 34th head coach of Washington State football. I'm extremely honored to carry on the rich tradition of Washington State and carry on the passion of Coug fans everywhere. And more importantly, I'm even more excited to find a home for our family and a place in Pullman that fits us so well and that we can be here for a long time. My story begins in a small town in Wisconsin, and I just want to encourage everybody out there, you know, to dream big, you know, because a long time ago I set out on this journey, and there's no dream that's too big, and there's nothing more that you can't accomplish but you got to be willing to keep pushing through and outlast adversity. And that's where this journey started, and I've had a lot of people to thank along the way. Before I get going, I want to give a bunch of thank yous, and a thank you to me is showing genuine appreciation for the effort and the commitment that everyone has made. And it really starts thanking Washington State, more importantly, thanking President Schultz, Dr. Chilton, for your leadership and your vision and just how you always wanted the best fit for Washington State. I also want to thank our athletic director, Pat Chun, our deputy athletic director, Brian Blair, for really allowing me to share my vision of what Washington State is now and where we can go together in the future. You know, and I believe we're in line, okay, from the president to our administration all the way on down on what we can do and accomplish if we all do it together. I want to thank the search committee, Todd Turner, Drew Turner, Craig Littlepage of College Sports Associates for helping me through this process. But most importantly, I want to thank my family. I want to thank my wife, Candace, of 9 years. I want to thank my 10-year-old daughter, Riley, our 2 boys, Jet is 7 and Jace is 5. And I see a lot of other coaches in this room, and what you understand is there's a lot of sacrifice. At one point, I had to move my family 8 times in 9 years to get to this point, okay? And that wasn't always the easy moves. That was us packing our own boxes. That was us hauling the U-Haul, driving cross country, and that was part of our journey. And we wouldn't be the people and the family we are without those experiences. So thank you guys so much for your sacrifice. I also want to thank my parents, Jeff Dickert and my mom, Rebecca Dickert. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. They have provided me with the values of hard work, what it means to embrace tough love, and just to be gracious for everybody that crosses your path. I know they're not here today, but I know they're watching. I want to thank our staff at Washington State. We had an opportunity 7 weeks ago to take over a team and to really share a vision. And I think everyone came together and really put their personal things aside and just poured everything into our players. Okay, and that leads me to these guys up here. Okay, we said 7 weeks ago, when I got the opportunity to address them for the first time, that we get to write this story. Okay, and what a story they wrote. Okay, but they also showed, okay, what character, togetherness, okay, and just giving everything to the team really embodies what it's all about to be a Coug. Okay, and a special thanks to the captains, those 8 captains and those senior leaders. They led with great conviction and great effort and great energy to get us to the point where we are today. And I just can't thank you guys enough for everything that you've given me, from the defense to the offense to special teams. It's really a special moment. I want to thank a few coaches that have mentored me throughout my path. It starts a while ago when I was a young college guy with John Mish. He was my head coach in college. He showed me the value of hard work because he didn't have 4 GAs and quality controls and equipment people and recruiting coordinators. He did it all himself. And I got a chance to witness him, and he's also the one that I have to thank the most for ending up being a defensive coach. He said, no, you're not going to coach where your brother's coaching. We're going to move you to defense. And it started this journey for me. And then there was a bunch of men that entrusted me that gave me full-time jobs. Ed Meyercourt, Tony Samuels, Jerry Oshesky, Todd Hoffner, John Stiglmeyer, and my greatest mentor of all, Craig Bull. I wouldn't be standing in front of you today if it wasn't for Coach Bull's leadership and what he poured into me and my life, and the discipline and details that he instilled in me I still carry with me today. And the last thank you goes out to all the players that I've coached. I've been able to coach at every level, and that's been a special experience for me. There's way too many to name, but all those guys know who they are. And I wouldn't be here without their effort and just the things that we've got to go through together, and it's been a really special journey. And I think you're the product of the people that you surround yourself with in life. And these guys have all blessed my path and my journey, and I'm just really excited that they've been a part of it. All right. Our vision for Washington State football. And this is stuff that I firmly believe in, and I'm just excited to bring it to our players. And I got a chance to present a lot of it to them last Saturday when Pat introduced me to the team. Our vision for Washington State football will be simple. Okay, we're going to be building champions while we're relentlessly competing for championships. Okay, and what I guarantee our young man is, first and foremost, we're going to build champion husbands, champion fathers, champion leaders of corporations and communities. Okay, we're going to bring champions that want to support our other athletic programs. They want to be involved in our campus community. We're going to build champions that want to get involved in our Pullman community, want to be involved in youth sports and reading to every elementary school in this town. We're going to build champions of bringing people in to talk to them about social justice, be able to motivate them, and to give them opportunities of sports psychology and grow the whole person. Okay, we're going to have champions here at Washington State, and they're going to be champion people first and foremost. The second phase of it, while relentlessly competing for championships, is a 365-day approach, okay, to greatness and to excellence and to being our best in everything that we do on and off the field. And that is a pursuit that I'm passionate about, and that is a pursuit to bring a Pac-12 championship back here to Pullman, Washington. Okay, and that is a pursuit, okay, absolutely, let's clap about that. And that is a pursuit that says moments like last Friday night when we stormed the field, that'll become the expectation, not the exception. Okay? And those are the places that we can go if we all do it together. We will instill core values in our program, and every one of our young men will have 4 pillars. The first one is trust. Okay? And I challenge our young men to say that any real relationship they have in their life, trust is the foundation of every one of those. Okay? And trust demands a deeper level of commitment. Okay, and trust is built through action. Okay, they will need to trust me, they will need to trust our process, but more importantly, they'll need to trust and believe in each other. Okay, that'll be the starting point. The second is discipline, doing what has to be done, when it has to be done, as well as it can be done, and doing it that way all the time. Okay, and I'm just a firm believer that when you're a disciplined team off the field, you will be a disciplined team on the field. Okay, remember, discipline is the harder road to take, but it also yields the greatest rewards. Okay, the third element, and I learned this a long time ago, is love. Okay, love to me is the intersection of commitment and sacrifice. And I'll teach our guys to love themselves, to love each other, and to love the process daily of what we all go through and challenge ourselves. The best part about love is that you're willing to hold each other accountable to the higher standard daily. And they will understand that because I love them, I will challenge them every day to become the best versions of themselves as people and as players. The last thing is competition, okay? And I grew up in a family, 2 brothers and a sister. We competed in everything that we do. And our guys will learn to love, value, and respect competition, okay? And I believe every moment in your life is an opportunity to be your best. And that'll be in social settings, that'll be in the classroom, that'll be on the football field, and that'll be in every relationship that we have. It will create an earn everything mindset, okay? And I believe that will shape our players and our people for the real world. So trust, discipline, love, and competition will be at the forefront of everything we do. And to carry on this message, I think it's my #1 job to identify, to acquire, and to maintain the best staff in the country. People that understand what it's like to be a Coug. People that understand what it's like to live in Pullman. And this will be men and women from different backgrounds, ages, ethnicities, experiences, but they will have one common thing in mind. Okay? They will love and have a passion for coaching and teaching. Okay? Servant leadership will be at the forefront of everything we do as a coaching staff, and servant leadership is defined to me as pouring into these guys' lives, not expecting things from them, but just pouring into their lives and see the greatness that can come out of it. And it all starts with building relationships. And I think the biggest way to build relationships that we're going to start with is in our recruiting. We need to find the 25 best, okay, and right players for Washington State every year. Okay, so that means the players that love the game, that love being part of a team, that have a drive to be special and have a drive in today's world to do it together. Okay, when a group of men don't care who gets the credit, there's real power in everything that we can accomplish together. And that pursuit will start in this state of Washington, okay, from Tumwater to Tacoma, okay, from Eastside Catholic to Gig Harbor, okay, from the Palouse to Spokane to the Tri-Cities and everywhere in between. We're going to be at your school, we're going to fly the Coug flag, and we will find you. And that I learned from Coach Price on a Zoom last summer. That is where our program will be founded, and that is where our program will start. And I think the biggest thing in recruiting that we have to show them, all of us, is what a unique place Washington State is, okay? Because what makes us unique here at Washington State also makes us great. And when you find the people that have the attributes that I just talked about, okay, just like things that we did together last Friday night, those things can be accomplished on a grand scale. Lastly, to achieve all these things, we need you. We need you, okay? Who is you? Okay, it's President Schultz, it's Dr. Chilton, it's Pat, it's Brian, okay? It's our great faculty and staff. It's all of our colleagues in the athletic department, but it's also every wheat farmer in Whitman County. It's every apple grower throughout this whole state. It's every Fortune 500 Coug. It's every local businessman. It's Coug fans worldwide. It's all of our donors, our boosters, our alumni, and especially our former players. Okay, there's a lot of people that laid the ground for this moment to happen today. There's a lot of people that came before us, and I tell our guys all the time, Washington State was here before us, and it'll be here long after us. What standard do we want to leave, and what expectation do we want to leave behind? And the biggest thing that we can all show is an unwavering commitment, okay? That is our edge, okay? And I believe when you take special people at a special place and you show a bunch of people unwavering commitment, anything is possible. And I look forward to all the people that I mentioned, building special relationships with all of you. You're going to see me, my family, at all the basketball events, soccer games, volleyball, in the community. Okay, I think Washington State is a very, very special place. And when we do all these things together, you know, I can't wait to bring a Pac-12 championship back home to Washington State. Go Cougs.
We will now take questions from those joining us in the room. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone to you. When asking your question, please say your name and affiliation and who your question is directed to.
Coach, Jamie Vinnick with Coug Fan. You mentioned building your coaching staff. Do you anticipate keeping a lot of the same coaches, or will there be some changes along the way?
Well, I think we're currently in the process of vetting all of our coaches. And I'm an opportunity to sit down with all of our coaching staff tomorrow. And, you know, my biggest thing is to provide the best experience for our players that is possible. And we're going to find the right guys and the right fit in the right moment just to instill everything that we have and to give our players everything that we possibly can. So we're in that process now. It starts with our staff here at home. But I'm going to have a lot of conversations with a lot of people to make sure that we have the right fit for our program now and in the future.
Do you intend on keeping the run and shoot as the primary offense?
Well, I think we're going to look at everything. I think the biggest philosophy I have on offense is players over plays, okay? And we're going to center this around Jaden and his development and what he can do in the future. And he's just starting and he's just blossoming into what he can become. And I think there's a certain level of expectation that we all have of being an explosive offense here at Washington State, using our speed, our athleticism, but being uniquely different. You know, so we're going to look at all avenues and to make sure we're finding the right fit for our future and our players.
And then what is your plan for the defensive coordinator position, assuming you'll divvy that to someone else as being the head coach?
Jamie, we'll announce that in due time. I appreciate you, but, you know, when it comes from me, that makes it official. You know, so we'll do those things in due time, but, you know, right now it's just a special moment for Washington State.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jamie.
Other questions in the room, please raise your hand and we'll get to you. In the back.
Alex Crescenti, KXOY TV. Coach, you were talking earlier about how you moved your family 8 times in 9 years. What's it been like for, you know, wife and kids the last couple weeks here, you know, learning this news?
And I say that 8 times in 9 years. I know my wife loves me. I've taken her everywhere. So I think it's really special. You know, I think the biggest thing when all this happened, you know, as a family unit, we had to push some of our personal feelings aside and try to do what's best for the team. And it takes real partnership to do that. You know, so I know there was a lot of happy tears when we finally found out the news, right, Riley? Yeah. So there was just a lot of special moments, and you know, we're just excited because there's very few times in life you just get an opportunity that you say, this fits me. This fits our values. This fits our core. This fits who we are. Like I said, I was in LA recruiting yesterday, and there's so much traffic, I can't even look sideways. So this just fits who we are as a family, and just excited about setting down roots, because that's ultimately what I've always been wanting to do throughout this journey.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Other questions in the room? Please raise your hand.
I'm going to say, take it easy on me, Coach.
I want to know, is there any chance in hell we're ever going to see another tight end at Washington State University?
Man, I thought you were going to give me a softball to hit, Coach.
I could have said go Cowpokes, but I know you've been there.
Yeah.
Solid with me.
That's right. That's right.
That was my question.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. We'll look at everything. We'll look at everything. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Thank you. No fullbacks. No.
Any further questions in the room before we go online? All right, we'll take questions online. First question is coming from Tom Abbott of the Daily Evergreen. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on your new position.
Thanks, Tom.
My question for you is, you've been doing a lot of recruiting out of state, in state, everywhere really. We've seen it on social media a bunch in the past week. How has it been to introduce yourself as the head coach instead of the interim head coach?
Well, I definitely think it makes it a little easier, and to be honest, it just provides a comfort level to share your vision. And you got to remember, when you're 17, 18 years old and something like this happens, there's a lot of uncertainty. And, we've done a good job in recruiting of vetting our players and making sure in families, they feel comfortable here. So to share my vision over the last, 4 or 5 days that I've been out recruiting, I think is special. But also to have some certainty about, who their young man is going to be coached by, I think has really helped our families and will really help us going forward. So it's been a lot easier.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the new title.
Thank you.
Next question is from John Blanchett of the Spokesman Review.
This is for Pat Chun. Pat, you mentioned you interviewed Jake 3 times. What did you get out of those interviews? What did you learn about Jake in those 3 sessions that you didn't know before?
I don't know if well, a couple things. One, we had the benefit of just watching him every day and watching this football team. And the most important thing in any type of organization is just simply leadership. What he was able to display, more importantly, what emerged from the team is really a byproduct of what great culture is. Great culture can withstand anything, and we went through a lot. But what you saw was something emerge that many people outside of Washington State probably didn't know what these young men are made of. But our coaching staff knew, and they knew they could get it out. In those 3 meetings, we went, I had to figure out from Jake, what is his vision? Where can we go? What's the plan? How committed is he to this? Because there are things that, there's an opportunity here at Washington State unlike any other place. We believe in the strengths we have. We believe in all the great things going on here at Washington State. We always feel like if we can find the right coaches, and I think we've proven that in recent history, we can do anything here in the country. So our criteria is pretty strict. We believe in people. We may never out-resource other schools in our league, but we will always out-people people. And that is really where we center our searches on, to get the right people. We got a team in postseason right now in volleyball. We got one that just finished in soccer. My basketball coaches hate it when I talk about what the expectations could be this year, but just watch them play and you can make your own opinion on both of them. The standard is high. Like I said, we have a senior class that has been to bowl games every year they've been here for a full year. I said it when the year started, this is the most talented football team I've seen at Washington State. We have coaches that understand in all of our sports it takes more than talent to win. What Jake, and sitting down with him 3 times, was talking about what's he going to do, and a staff of people built in building these young men up, how they're going to get the most out of them. So I had the gift of time. It allowed us to meet 3. You guys I mean, this industry is very, very unique, especially in the coaching side. All these searches are accelerated at a breakneck pace. I was fortunate that we had the time, we had this evaluation, and we ended up in the place we needed to be at.
And for Jake, I think we've seen in the last week with the coaching moves and some of the salaries that we've been seeing, that the stakes of college football do nothing but go up. In looking at this job, Jake, how equipped is Washington State to keep pace and continue to be relevant in this changing landscape?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I think college football now is definitely unique in the recruiting aspect of it. But my main goal is to re-energize and refocus our program, and make sure we're all on the same page going forward. And if we stay the course, John, and we keep winning 1-0, and we do it daily throughout the process and do a lot of the things that I talked about with our vision and with our core values, we're going to have a lot of success, but it's a daily process to that success, and it starts by making sure we're retaining our guys, and we're here together, and we continue to move, forward together, and we're excited about that process, and it starts with practice tomorrow.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Scott Hansen of the Seattle Times.
Hi, Pat. I was curious, how important was the Apple Cup win to making this decision?
Well, the Apple Cup is important, period. So everything was a part of a process, but nothing overshadows beating our rivals.
I mean, did that expedite this process, getting that win?
Well, we went through a totality of a process, and the conclusion of the process was a bunch of Cougs in the middle of that stadium holding a trophy won by the men overlooking this press conference. So, I mean, once we had the gift of being with Jake every single day and this football team, and a decision had to be rendered at the conclusion of that, but I think it was pretty obvious in how this team performed what that specific evaluation point meant.
Coach, I apologize. Do you plan on maybe being a defensive coordinator next year, or do you know if you're going to relinquish some of those duties?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
I couldn't tell by one of the answers. Do you plan on hiring a defensive coordinator, or you haven't decided yet?
No, I think that's one of my biggest visions, that I share with Pat, is that I believe Washington State needs a true head coach. Not a head coach that specializes in defense, not specializes in offense, but a true head coach. One that can pour in both sides of the ball, because I've seen both. I've been on coaches or staffs that the head coach is the head coach, and ones that the acting coordinator on one side and trying to be the head coach. We will hire coordinators. I will empower leaders throughout our whole program, and I think these guys will be influential in our success. So I'm just excited to pour into both sides of the ball, and I think that's going to be a special fit for us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was going to say, I think Kyle Smith applied with the 29 they gave up last night.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
So you're going to have to talk to him.
That's a heck of a defense right there.
Next question comes from Daryl Prowse of Wazoo Nation.
This is for the coach. Sir, you've talked a lot about family matters. What has your family told you about what they like, your wife and your kids, what they like best about Pullman?
Well, I would say that they love just riding their bikes down the street, coming back home when the lights turn on. Right? We got a basketball court that one of our neighbors just lets all of our kids use whenever they want to. And it's family up and down our neighborhood, and I think that's special, so whether it's a family barbecue or just hanging out with the family or going for a walk, I just think those are the things. It's a special place. You get family time, and we pour so much into our jobs that with the fact that I can get home in 7 minutes, I can put them to bed, I can get to Riley's volleyball game or the boys' basketball games. That's a special place to be, and I think that's what we love most about Pullman.
And Coach is from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And history shows assistant coaches promoted to head coach from Stevens Point do extraordinarily well at Washington State University.
Yes. You bet.
All right, last chance for questions in the room.
Sorry. Brenna Green, KREM 2, you mentioned Wisconsin. Jake, just how excited are you to go and play in your home state next season as a head coach?
Oh, one at a time, Brenna, one at a time. It'll be an exciting moment. I'm sure I'll have thousands of ticket requests. Okay, and what that means is I'm also going to have to provide thousands of sweatshirts and hats and T-shirts for Coug gear, and I'm excited to do that. So it'll be special.
All right, anything else? All right, Coach, we will conclude the press conference. Congratulations again to Coach Dickert, and thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Have a great day, and go Cougs.